Hello and welcome once again everyone. Today I'm going to take a look at the brand new Tier 5 French destroyer Jaguar. Those of you familiar with my channel will already know I've covered the Tier 6 Jaguar and the Tier 5 Premium Sirocco. I didn't get these ships in order due to the random nature of the container drops, so apologies if the videos seem out of order. You can find quick links to the previous videos in the top right. I've included a link to the complete French destroyer playlist at the end of the video. The complete recommended ship build and captain skills that I'm using in this video can be found after these highlights, and I'm including the timestamp here on screen, so if you wish to jump ahead at any stage. So with that out of the way, let's dive a little deeper into the Tier 5 French destroyer Jaguar. I'm always on the lookout for a particular characteristic that can give me an edge or help me devise a playstyle that gets a ship to perform well. The Jaguar stands out to me immediately for a number of reasons. Firstly is its large number of hit points, over 18,000, which makes the Jaguar one tanky little ship, which is going to be extremely useful considering it has no smokes and a large population of carriers in the game at lower tiers. Secondly, and most importantly, are its torpedoes, and these are in my opinion the best torpedoes in the game at Tier 5. These are basically kamikaze torpedoes with better range, and any of you familiar with the Tier 5 Premium Kamikaze, she is one of the most feared torpedo boats in the game. Sure, the Jaguar doesn't have the really good concealment of the Japanese destroyers, but with a detection range of 6.3 kilometers and a torpedo range of 8 kilometers, it gives one some decent room for maneuver. It's not just the range of 8 kilometers that makes these torpedoes so good, it's the high speed of 68 knots. Having the fastest torps in the game at this tier makes the Jaguar a fearsome opponent and worthy of its name. I'm a victim of my own greed here with this last salvo, in an attempt to get a fire on the Congo that had damage conned. I remained detected by firing and took a huge amount of damage, in particular AP damage, from the French cruiser La Galissonière, who had used his reload booster to very good effect. One can simply not be cavalier when fighting higher tier opponents. Baiting the La Galissonière into turning initially was fine, but then I should have instantly ceased fire, going dark, and started preparing for the next attack. I've basically sacrificed 2/3 of my HP for very little return, which forces me for the remainder of the game to be way more cautious. On the plus side, it does highlight the tanky nature of the Jaguar, as many Tier 5 destroyers would already be dead due to such a careless error in judgment. They say what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, and in this case I'll have the increased benefit of adrenaline rush, albeit a lot earlier than anticipated. More torps in the water, as it would happen on 2 French targets, the French Tier 6 battleship Normandie and Tier 6 La Galissonière, both known for their high speed and decent maneuverability, making them usually quite tricky to land torpedoes reliably on target. The Jaguar has proved itself more than capable of landing successful strikes on fast-moving targets. When considering the vast majority of opponents you will be regularly faced with will be quite sluggish and way more vulnerable to torpedo attacks, I personally feel I can always gauge the potential of a ship better when being forced to fight higher tier opponents, and the Jaguar does not disappoint. This La Galissonière has taken a very aggressive posture here, and after our initial engagement I'm very reluctant to open fire, as he proved earlier more than capable of dealing significant damage. He is committing here and forcing me back to the edge of the map to remain undetected. The Chacal-class being unable to turn without showing full broadside to the onrushing battleships becomes quite predictable here, being forced into a straight line to remain angled, which makes him a much easier target to hit with torpedoes. I put one spread on his predicted course and then another behind just in case he slows down. They would seem to be right on target. He does attempt to maneuver at the last second when he does spot them, but he's way too late and he has no chance. They're just too fast. So we managed to get our first kill of the game. Tier 6 Chacal-class goes down. The prospect of winning this game, however, would appear to be quite grim at this point. Our team has been pushed back virtually into our spawn, and the enemy is advancing on all flanks. I myself have been pushed right back to the baseline of our own spawn by that very aggressive Chacal-class. Open fire on the Normandy, attempt to get some fires, but I'm basically faced with the option of trying to get damage at this point. We're down 5 ships to 3. This Normandy would appear to be quite accurate as well. Despite my high speed, he's landing shells. The Normandy is firing high explosive here, so I'm really at a bad disadvantage in this situation. Once again he hits me again, sets me on fire. This is not a fight I can take on at this point. I'd hoped to quickly get some fires, but it's the other way around. The Normandy sets me on fire, forced into dropping detection once again. I have to resist my own worst impulses, not to just go YOLO when I see things going against me. And he was very unlucky with his final salvo. So I'm going to be forced into torpedo mode again. The Normandy is retreating at high speed. It's going to make him a very difficult target. The Congo, however, we've just lost another 2 ships in quick succession. It's looking now quite grim. So we're literally left with the option of trying to get some torpedoes on this Congo. He is pushing into the cap. He would appear to be slowing down. It's all about trying to inflict the maximum amount of damage now on the enemy. Jaguar is in the cap. Put some fire on this Congo as he does seem to be angling away slightly. Try and provoke him into turning towards me. Give those torpedoes a chance of hitting on target. Normandy is still shooting me. Attempt to get a reset on this Jaguar. Do manage to reset him, and those torps do just run out. That's unfortunate. Try and prevent the capture point being taken for as long as possible. Congo does manage to land a hit on me there. I do manage to reset him though. It's a question of holding back the tide now. That Normandy persists on landing shells on me from long range. This team would now appear to be in full on collapse mode. Let's see if I can do something about this Warspite. Friendly Synop goes down. We're now in an 8-on-4 situation. It's just a matter of time before this game ends. I do expect this Warspite to remain angled against our Byron. Although it would seem he's turning away. It's an odd choice to be showing broadside. Okay, he starts angling again. That is what I expected him to do. Just going to torp in front. Yeah, he is remaining angled against the Byron. These torps should be on target. There's not much I can do to keep this Byron alive. He makes another turn inwards towards the Byron. Get one hit. Just the 2 hits, but we do manage to get a flood. That should be enough to finish him off. He is still flooding and he is taking a fire from somebody else. Trying and get a little bit closer to this King George. New York takes out the Warspite. But our Byron goes virtually down in the same breath to a torpedo from New York. You can see now the benefits of Adrenaline Rush. We've got quite a good reload speed on these torpedoes. Just going to torp ahead of this King George. Now a 7-on-2 situation. Let's see if we can snag ourselves another kill before the end. These torps are looking good on the King George. Does turn inwards at the last second when he spots them. We get 1, 2, 3 solid hits on him. And once again I find myself very close to the baseline here. May as well just open fire now, there's nothing left to be lost. Try and get a fire maybe on this King George and finish him off. Might prolong the score a little bit. Never really something you want to hear in a game like that. You're the last hope. And I'm unable to take out the King George before the match ends. But even in a game that's completely one-sided, we managed to get 114,000 damage and we topped the scoreboards. Never a bad thing when you're bottom tier. Before going to the ship build, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've added a new Discord server, so come on over and say hello. And now onto the build. When composing these full builds, I always make a point of recommending premium consumables. Not only will you get additional charges, but they also come with reduced cooldown times, which can greatly increase your survivability and effectiveness in combat. Jaguar will get 3 ship upgrades, starting off with Main Armament Mod 1, Damage Control Mod 1, and finally Aiming Systems Mod 1. Onto the Captain skills. Being low tier, it's unlikely you will have accumulated enough XP to have a fully trained captain at this point, so I highly suggest going for Preventive Maintenance, Last Stand, Survivability Expert, and then Concealment Expert for your first 10 points. There are quite a few valid options for your final 9 points, which you can train in your own order of preference, but a very strong balance will include Priority Target, Adrenaline Rush, Basic Firing Training, and finally Demolition Expert. So let's see what this build means for the ship's final stats. For survivability, Jaguar gets 18,350 hit points, which is really very strong for a tier 5 destroyer. Main artillery consists of 5 single-mounted 130mm turrets with 12.1 kilometers in range, equally arranged 2 fore, 1 centrally and 2 aft, with a reload speed of 5.9 seconds. Jaguar gets 2 X3 torpedo launchers, both centrally mounted for use on either port and starboard sides, with 8 kilometers in range and a very fast speed of 68 knots and a reload time of 90 seconds. Jaguar gets an EA defense rating of 7, which means you won't be shooting down many planes, and aircraft carriers will pose a real threat. For maneuverability, Jaguar gets a max base speed of 35.5 knots, a turning circle of 660 meters, and a rudder shift time of 4 seconds. Finally, Jaguar has a concealment rating of 94, meaning you will be surface detected at 6.3 kilometers and by aircraft at 3.1 kilometers. I'd like to thank you once again all for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more. Take a moment to check out some of my most recent videos and leave a comment below. And until the next time, keep sailing it like you stole it.